is not promised. Today is the best day of my life. Tomorrow is not promised. Go ahead and do your little dance while they're still playing your song. As you can see, I'm on my way to Robbins, bro, and I got a truckload of appliances. I got a trailer hooked on the back of my truck. I was headed to Stone Mountain. My goal was to climb Stone Mountain. So, as a 49-year-old, life is changing. Life is shifting. How life is shifting is, I had to take a stool sample to Kaiser this weekend. My results came back, and I don't have colon cancer, so that's a plus. But what my doctor did tell me is that I gotta lay off the sugar and I gotta exercise, or I'm gonna be pre-diabetic or something. So I'm not receiving it. So tomorrow morning, and for the remaining days of the week, bro, I'm gonna be doing things that's gonna help me stay alive. I'm gonna walk up Stone Mountain when I get back to the city. I'm gonna be doing things that help me, and it's gonna help other people. But one of the things that is helping me is understanding what my lane is and staying out the mix, so to speak. And how I'm doing it is understanding what other people are at, understanding what their preconceived notions is, and just simply staying out the way. I'm gonna break that shit down. A lot of times we have misunderstanding with people because we have different definitions and different expectations, but similar assumptions. So where your definition of loyalty and my definition of loyalty could be two totally different things. And we could be saying, hey, we're gonna be loyal to each other. And you could be like, yeah, I'm gonna be loyal. But if your definition ain't the same as my definition, shit, we're eventually gonna bump heads. So as a person who believes in staying calm and being cool, bro, a lot of stuff, I'm just recognizing that this is who you are and this is what you got going on. And it may sound idiotic to me. It may sound very idiotic to me. I'm not gonna tell you it sounds idiotic. I'm not gonna piss you off because you're not that smart no way, so I don't wanna piss you off. But what I'm not doing is I'm not subscribing to that bull. I'm not subscribing to it. What it say? God bless you. I appreciate that. What I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna subscribe to, I'm not subscribing to your fuckery. And it don't matter what situation that you go into. For me, whatever situation I'm in, I'm the most important person in that equation. I don't give a fuck who I'm talking to or who I'm interacting with. And that's from my children to my grandchild. I'm the most important person in any element that I did. I'm a teacher. I'm a father. So if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of nobody else. That's the first and foremost. How long you been, what? How long I've been trans? Again, here's a prime example. Hey man, if you're 12 years old and you got your mama phone or you got your phone and you're able to come here and ask how long I've been trans, I'm not trans. Or I could just decide not to give your ass no attention. Well, we'll stick to that. What's going on? All right, so the reason I bring up just analyzing people and being the most important person in the element is because a lot of times shit get misconstrued, bro. And people start thinking that there's something that they're not. You say, what black activities are you? I can't see that last word. What the fuck that say? Doing, okay, I am transporting, you can't see it from right here, but I'm transporting appliances. I guess you can see my rearview mirror right there. I'm transporting appliances from Atlanta to Warner Robbins. That's what kind of black activities I got going on. Hey man, it's the best day of my life. I don't know how I can get no better. Let me tell you the reason why I'm saying certain things. Most people are delusional as fuck. most people be very delusional with not just how the world operates, but who they are as individuals. A lot of people think they tougher, bigger, badder than what they are. A lot of women be thinking that they puppies when they really be pigs. I can't get caught up in nobody's delusion or illusion as to who and or what you are. It's almost like you identify as being a bad itch. It's not your calling, sweetheart. It's not who you are as an individual. Yeah, that's not who you are as an individual. And then you have some men that believe that they tougher, that maybe they is tough, I don't know, but I try to identify anger, I identify potential liabilities. For example, I was in class yesterday with my at-risk females, and I asked them if they knew who Jada West was. And out of 19 young ladies, one of them did know who Jada West was. Now, Jada West was the individual, she was the young lady, the 12-year-old who has been unalive because of middle school misunderstanding or disagreement. So then I just asked the young ladies, I was just like, bro, are you weak if you walk away? Are you weak if you walk away from a situation? I appreciate that. I want to read that, but this is not distracting at you directly. Let me see what this shit say. It said it directly, but almost everyone thinks they're so important these days, from driving like a-holes, being rude to an employee. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people think that. And, you know, kudos to those people for believing in themselves. However, some of this shit can be time consuming and it can get misconstrued. So now, back to what I'm saying. So I asked the young ladies, because all the young ladies that I deal with, I appreciate the gifts. I appreciate that. All the young ladies that I deal with, they're all on probation. They're all in my class because they have gotten into physical fights. So then I asked, I say, what's the worst possible outcome to a fight that you may have in school? And what they'll tell me is that you could lose. I say it could get a little worse than that. What's the worst that could possibly happen? So one of the young ladies say she can get killed. So I say, if she get killed, then what happens to you? Shit, I guess I go to jail. So then I just bring up the SB 440. SB 440 is, you know, the 7 deadly sin in the state of Georgia. So you can unalive this little girl, and then you can go to chain gang for the rest of your life. You don't want to go to chain gang for the rest of your life. So I asked one of the young ladies, I say, what was your last fight? What was your last fight about? She told me, she say, that some other little girl, I don't like that sound. She said another little girl stole the vape from her. I asked, I said, shit, you 14 years old, where you get the vape from? She stole it from somebody else. All right. So you stole the vape from somebody, and you smoking with another little girl, and then she stole the vape from you. So now you got to beat her up. How much do the vape cost? What happens if you get caught with the vape at school? She was like, no. She said, the important thing is she tried me. Nah, they say something like, do you need that? She needed that. I was like, what you mean need that? That's what do you want to fight me? A dental plan? Okay. I'm in Georgia. Never mind. All right. So when she says that, she asked the little girl, do you need that? They get into a fight. And people need to be taught to run from foolishness. Yeah, that was the big message for yesterday. So they got into a fight. So I said, what would have happened if you would have killed this little girl? And then she was just like, shit, I guess I would have went to prison. And I said, you know what prison is like? No, you ain't never been in jail. You never been in jail, but you already send yourself up to go spend a lifetime in prison. Shit, to me, that don't make sense. That don't make sense at all. So here's what I decided to do. Because the last 2 weeks in March, I start a journaling class with at-risk females. It's a journaling class meshed with healthy relationships. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a section of my curriculum that's going to be strictly dedicated to Jada West, the 12-year-old who got killed in the fight. We're going to break down what happens when you record a fight. What happens when you record a fight? Because there's a psychological aspect to that. And it affects all of us. It's like me talking to my camera and 2 people online, and me talking to my camera and there's 200 people online. You know, when we get attention, we begin to act differently. It's almost like a pep rally or shooting a jumper when there's nobody in the gym and shooting a jumper when the gym is filled and the clock is ticking down. That adrenaline goes, your mindset goes, and you'll do certain things. So when the kids record the fights that's going on and it go online, bro, there's a certain degree of potential crash out that comes along with that. There's a certain degree of pressure that come along with that. And how I broke it down in the class, I asked, I say, if Mr. Butler breath stink and you take me outside the class and you say, hey, your breath stink, what do you think my response would be? So we have that. Then I say, well, what if you say it in front of the whole class? What do you think my response would be? And so what we all establish is that when we bring certain things up in front of other people, it creates this degree of crash out. So what I want my young ladies to understand is that you gotta figure out how to ignore this. You gotta figure out how to maneuver through the crash out. I can't pay attention to what y'all talking about right now. I don't like these bumps. Bump. Another bump. All right, so I'm going to have for every class, and even in my chess class, because this summer I have a chess class coming up with at-risk youth. And so the theory is this with the chess class. When you come into my class, these young men have been suspended. They've been kicked out. They're going to an alternative school. So here's my goal. I just want to teach you that if you can learn how to move these chess pieces, you can go into any environment, you can learn the rules, and you can excel. So I do offer them monetary reward. The goal is to shift the paradigm by way of adding to and not taking away. I already know what's wrong with you. Now tell me what's good with you. But the goal is to build up confidence. But even in the chess class, we're going to add a section that is specifically centered around Jada West, the 12-year-old, because every fight that goes on at your local middle school, that shit in high school, that shit is recorded. It's recorded. And it's not helpful to anybody, because if I got beat up, and I've been beat up before, if I got beat up and it was 2 weeks ago, shit, don't nobody remember that. But when that shit is recorded, bro, when it's recorded, oh man, that's bad. That could be bad. Because you can always go back to it. And if they put it on the internet and that shit go viral, oh my God. It just adds pressure to kids. So now, after we maneuver around that, I'm having these people write the bumps on the fucking freeway, bro. No, I can't fuck with LA Fitness, I'm sorry. All right, so then I'm having them write certain things out. But the only thing I'm trying to do is break down cause and reaction before and after to the least common denominator. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get them to think on the level with, okay, I need for you to use your jail time. I mean, your jail math. Do your jail math in some of these certain situations. If your friends ask you to ride in a stolen car and one of them got a pistol, I need for you to be able to do your jail math. Theft by receiving and possession of a firearm. That's how you got to think. And with the young ladies, I like interacting with the girls because their minds are stronger. I'm sorry, but it's true. Their minds are a tad bit stronger. The situation is that they don't understand their value. My goal is to improve that self-awareness so they understand who they are and what it is that they're doing. For example, when I'm dealing with at-risk females, they got to understand they're the most important person in any equation. They also have to understand that they possess a prize and that they are natural born leaders. But that you can trust no man, no male is to be trusted. I don't give a damn who he is or where he come from. You can't trust none of them. That's the God's the honest truth. And then I teach them some things that I teach my daughters, like in reference to not opening doors when you interacting with a male. And then being safe, like, you know, you have certain situations, bro. They in Decatur in East Atlanta, what's going on is, bro, they put fentanyl in the weed. So I asked them, I was like, shit, some of y'all have smoked marijuana before. You don't have to tell on yourself, but some of y'all didn't smoke weed before. How can you tell if they put fentanyl in your weed? How do you know if somebody has spiked the drink? You can't tell until it's too late. Okay, so now do you take the chance every time that you want to get high to risk your life? Or every time y'all around people who want to get drunk, do you risk your life? It's you. So now I know that some of these people are still gonna smoke, they still gonna drink, but I have a moral obligation to try to scare the shit out of you and get you to think on a different mindset. That's all we can do. I like the population that I'm dealing with because they're still growing. They're still moldable. When these people get up in age, bro, it's gonna be hard to deal with them. Because a motherfucker my age know everything. We got everything figured out. But one of my strongest assets is I listen to the youth. I listen to them. I don't just do that. Man, it's so much better when they can teach me something. Because when they teach me something, it makes my arms longer. It gives me the ability to go into another classroom and interact with different kids. But even if I just pick up on the lingo, because when the girls say, do you need that? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? She was like, do you need that? Mean, if a child asks you that, if a teenager asks you, do you need that? That means, I guess, do you want to fight? I was like, all right. I don't see why we would need to fight, but now I understand what y'all be talking about. I think that if we're being honest with these kids, man, and I'm only talking about this because my caseload is increasing. I'm having more responsibility and more circles. So as this takes place, man, I gotta be all the way equipped. This summer, we having fishing trips, we having camping trips. I'll still be inside the juveniles with the guys that's going to prison, but I need to keep the people that's on my caseload, not in jail, that's not in prison. I need to keep them up out this motherfucker. That's my goal, man. I'm tired of going to funerals. I don't want to go to no funerals. I hope